We're going to continue our lecture today on chapter 3 part 1, which is on superstructure, including beam and slab. So what is superstructure? Superstructure is a physical or conceptual structure extended, developed from a basic form or part of building or other structures above foundations. So previously we had learned that in chapter 2 that all structures below the ground level is the substructure. Now we're going to learn on the superstructure, which is structure that above the ground level. So the superstructure can be divided into three, which is a mass structure, bearing wall structure, and also frame structure. Mass means solid structure that have no little or no space, no open space inside. For example, dams. And bearing wall structure have usable space in them, and wall holes, floors, and roof above them. And usually they are bearing means they hold the loads. Okay. And frame structure usually made from wood, reinforced concrete, and steel. The frame made up of beam and column, and it supports the roof and all floors, ceilings, and contents. So this is an example of bearing wall structures. Mean all these wall structures hold the loads. Okay, and transfer the loads to the other structures. And this is an example of mass structures. There are no open hole for mass structure, all solid. Okay, and this is an example of frame structure. You can see that single story to 4 stories, usually they use wood frame structure or reinforced concrete frames. And for tall building, they use reinforced concrete frames or steel frames. And for high-rise and skyscrapers, they use steel frames. The loading usually transferred from the roof to the roof beam and transferred to the bearing wall. Okay, so the bearing wall means they hold the load. However, the non-load bearing wall here is acting like a partition just to divide the space. So this wall to divide between this space and also this space. Okay, but load bearing walls, they hold the loads and transferred from above to the other structure. And lastly, to the foundation and to the ground below. This is an example of load bearing structure, and this is an example of RC frame structure. So frame means there are not solid, there are still holes here, but load bearing, the loads transferred to the structure and to the foundation below. The load distribution must be considered not only what loading conditions might affect a structure, but also how thus loads are transferred from their points of origin through the structure to the ground. So normally the load from that load, wind load and live load, transferred from the roof to the truss, to the roof beam, column, and foundation, or from the wall, beam, column, and foundation. So all depends on our structure, or from slab, beam, column, and foundation. So superstructure, we go for the first structure, which is beam. Beam is horizontal structure elements that is capable to withstand load, primarily by resisting bending. So the bending force induced into the material of the beam as a result of the external load's own weight and the span. So the reaction to this load is called a bending moment. So this is a bending moment. Beam are characterized by the profile, the length, and the material. So beam can be made of steel, reinforced concrete, or wood. So most common types of steel beam is the I-beam. Why we call it the most common? Because it is can be used, it's very strong and can be used for many constructions. So that's why it's also known as universal beam. Okay, or universal column. and usually used in steel frame buildings and also bridges. Other types of beam are C-channel, the hollow structure section beam, and the pipe and the angle. So here is the most stiff. Okay, the H or I-beam or universal beam is the most stiff compared to this channel, square, angle, and lastly the least stiff is the T-beam. Beam are also described by how they are supported. So here is the simple beam where it's supported by the roller at the end and also pin. Okay, the cantilever beam only have one fixed support at the end. The other end do not have any support. So that's why it's called cantilever beam. And hanging beam, which actually supported by 2 points, simply supported, which is the pin and roller. But the extent beyond the supports, there are no support here. So that's why we call it overhanging beam. Concrete beams can be constructed in situ method or precast. The disadvantage of in situ concrete beam, which is the need of formwork, the time taken for the concrete to cure before formwork can release for the reuse and the beam made available as a working area, and a very small contribution by a large portion of the concrete of the strength of the beam. What does it mean here? Means that you will construct a solid concrete of beam when you construct in situ. However, when you ordered a precast beam, you already have a point, hollow point for the conduit for the piping. So this actually reduce the amount of concrete. And the strength of this beam is higher compared to this in situ beam. So this is the precast beam, which is manufactured in the factory with controlled quality. So they have this shape, okay? So the concrete had been reduced this much compared if you construct in situ. So that's why the very small contribution, but a large proportion of the concrete to the strength of the beam. It means that we reduce the beam, we reduce the concrete by using precast concrete, but the strength also higher. A precast concrete beam overcomes some or all of these advantages of in situ reinforced concrete slab. The design consideration full economy should be within the span with loading and layout limitations of units under considerations, coupled with the advantage of repetition. So we have the rectangular beam, the L-shaped beam, inverted T-beam, and H-toe beam. So there are 5 types of beam according to the function. This is according to the function. The main beam are the beam that stretch over from column to column, where it is main beam to transfer the whole upper load to the column that consists inside the building structure. So this is the main beam, the blue color. So from one column to one column. While the secondary beam, the type of beam is stretched over the main beam. So this beam is also transmitted the load of the main beam. The function is reduce a length that support the structure or catch the load of the structure. So this is the secondary beam that actually support between the prime beam. So the red color is the secondary beam. Tertiary beam is the beam across between the columns and the main beam, and its function is to distribute the load from the beam to the column. So this is the tertiary beam, the pink color. Other than that, we have a tie beam and H beam. So tie beam actually stretch over a columns, and the purpose is to binding both of the columns to support the stability of the structure. So this is the tie beam to support the structure and to stabilize the structure. Okay, and the other one, the last one is the H-beam. The H-beam function is a binding beam to stretch between the external column. So the H-beam is here to bind the beams together. This is an illustration of the primary beam, the green color, and the secondary beam, the brown color. And above that, we have the slab. This is the launching of the precast concrete beam for bridge, a tallest beam that made for the bridge. This one is precast, which is manufactured in the factory. And this is the in situ concrete beam where we need to have the formwork. This is the formwork. We need to do the formwork. After that, reinstall the RC bar and then concreting. After that, remove the formwork. Then that is our beam. Okay, this is the timber beam, example of the timber beam. Slab or floor, the function is to strengthen the stability, to resistance the weather and ground moisture, durability and freedom from maintenance. Of course, every structure that we construct, we want to have the durability. Means that we do not want to have regular maintenance, right? So the fire safety, resistance, spread and to passage of fire, to provide stable support for occupants to evacuate, to resistance of heat and also sound. The slabs material consists of concrete and timber. So there are two types of slab, which is suspended and non-suspended. So non-suspended means that the slab is contact with the ground. Means that the ground have a good bearing capacity that can uphold the load from above. The non-suspended slab will be constructed separately from the ground beam, while the suspended slab is supported by the ground beam and hanging above the ground, and which constructed monotonically with the beams, means that it's constructed with the beam together as a roof or floor above the ground level. The non-suspended slab normally located underground and commonly used as on hard and stable ground conditions because the ground can support the load of the slab and provides a level surface that capable to support all live or dead load and transfer load directly to the ground, which is the soil below it. And the moisture related problems is the critical conditions. That's why we use waterproofing, which is dam proof membrane, DPM. And suitability of this method depends on the moisture contents of the soil. So stage 1, what you need to do is to casting the ground beam 25 mm lower the original depth. This is the ground beam. Leveling and well compact. And after that, subgrade and crusher grind. So this is the layers, which is, this is the ground beam. And this is the subgrade layer, and this is the crusher run. Okay, layers. And after that, we place the DPM and followed by the reinforced fabric steel layer. So the DPM is to prevent from the moisture content from the soil below. And after that, casting the ground slab to required level as specified in the construction. And stage 3, leveling the slab with gradient to the fall as specified in the construction drawing. Because, for example, if you have a floor trap, you need to level so that the water flows will go to the floor trap. For example, you have floor trap here. So you need to do the specified gradient according to the construction drawing. And then apply for hardener finisher. Finisher can be tiles, finishing. So finishing. Can be tiles, vinyl floor, okay. And then lastly, you need to form a groove line, because during hot weather the floor will expand a little bit, and during cold weather the floor will shrinkage. So the groove line is to allow this movement of expansion and shrinkage. Considerations during construction, you must use site formwork to form shape of the ground, and you also need to define the M&E and service piping location and level before placing concrete. Install checks for spaces and set up joint inspection, joint survey, and check all drawings such as a shop drawing, construction drawings, and architect drawing. What is shop drawing? Shop drawing is a set of drawing produced by a contractor, supplier, manufacturer, subcontractor, or fabricator. Shop drawings are typically required for fabricated components, for example, the elevators, the lift, because the shop drawing will provide the details of the structure and the method of the constructions. Another consideration during construction is to set up the machineries, the manpower, tools, equipment, materials, logistics, weather forecast before proceeding the concreting. And always plan for backup during concreting. And pouring concrete can be done by using concrete bucket and crane or concrete pump. So site formwork can be removed after 1 day, depend on size of the structure. So why we need to have a plan for concreting, because we need to concrete the slab for the whole slab. We cannot concrete half of the slab first day and second day the other slab, because this will create cold joint, which actually made the slab been divided into two. So one slab that become two different slab if this happen. How to construct the non-suspended slab? First, you need to do the setting, the cutting based on setting out, define the structure level, and construct the ground floor, the ground beam, backfill inside the ground, the beam, lean, concrete, anti-termite protection, DPM, install rebar, and then concreting. You also need to provide a starter bar for the next construction during the rebar installation. For example, here is the starter bar for the column. And use site formwork for the shape. And then define the M&E and other service before placing concrete. Install checks for spacer. Set up joint inspection. Set up the machineries, manpower, tool, equipment, and materials. Pouring concrete and site formwork can be removed after 1 day. And for suspended slab, also known as suspended floor, where the beam and slab are cast together. That's why we call it monolithically construction. Typical method of construction from first floor up to the roof beam. So this is actually the suspended slab. Okay, this is the suspended slab. So these actually provide a level of surface that is capable of supporting all live load and dead load, and also provide area for M&E services. Suspended slab constructed monolithically means that together with the beam. And starter bar installed is continue from column and used when the condition of the ground has slopes, has poor or uncertain bearing capacity, and is liable to volume changes, either swells or shrinks. So can be constructed using precast reinforced concrete planks or slab, means that this is already made at the factory. Block and beam floor systems or in situ reinforced concrete slab, means that here made at the site. Alright, so the main function is to prepare a plane surface to support loads, to operate as a sound, fire and heat insulator of resistance, act also as a ceiling, because we have here not underground because it's suspended. Okay, so it's also act as a ceiling, and the space between the floor and ceiling can be used to place building equipment and materials. So this is suspended slab. So this is the slab. It's not connected on the ground. So this is the example of detailed design. This is your slab, and this is your RC bar. And this is your RC bar here, the RC bar, and this is the linkers, the link. This is the construction process. Need to setting out, install the formwork. The soffit is actually the wood for supporting the formwork, and then side formwork for beam and formwork for slab, and then install rebar for beam and slab, and install any starter bars required for the next construction. Install spacer blocks and chairs, install ducting or conduit for M&E, and construct any required opening, and make sure location of the drop, and do the joint inspection. Then after that you can do the concreting. Okay, the advantages of the suspended slab is well known. Economy for low-cost project. Material is easy to get and easy to modify based on drawing. But the disadvantages that the time constraint where you need to do formwork. Okay, you need to do formwork step by step, construct in situ. So no working area under the floor. Why no working area? Look at this, very mess. You need to do the support. This is the scaffolding, so no area under the floor, and no need time for concrete to cure. The structure is ready, and also require skilled workers, not so systematic, and do not allow for cold joint and very congested. Industrialized method means that precast slab, you just need to setting up normally using system formwork. This one is at the factory or fabrication yard. So they have the system formwork, and install rebar for beam and slab at the fabrication yard. Cast slab of fabrication yard. Okay, this is done at the fabrication yard of the factory. But at a site, at the site location, you need to do setting out. You need to install the beam or slab, install the ducting on conduit for M&E, and construct any required opening, make sure the location of the drop, joint inspection, and concreting. So you actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps compared to conventional method that construct it at site. The advantages of modern or industrialized method is fast track project, economy for high cost project, sectional slab and beam redesign by formwork consultant or design by consultant at early stage. Okay, easy to construct and maintain cleanliness, very systematic, which actually had been reduced 50% of concrete, plus minus it's different 50% of concrete because of the hollow sections. Okay, hollow sections for the M&E, for the pipe, so you actually had reduced 50% of the concrete volume, which also reduced 25% of reinforced width and reduced 10% of the foundation size, because foundation needs to support the structure above. So when the concrete had been reduced, the foundation size also reduced. The disadvantages of the modern or industrialized method, it required skilled workers, cannot simply cut for opening. So take time to study and plan of the system, because you need to install it. It's similar like a Lego. You need to study the plan first. Not every contractor can afford the cost and ability to construct, because the starting cost is very expensive. However, for big project, it will be very it will reduce the cost of the project, because the time required had been reduced, and of course due to that the cost of the project also reduced. This is an example of suspended slab. They come up with panels. They connect each panel and to have your entire floor. Okay, so this is the panels. One panels, and one panels of floor. This is the end of chapter 3 part 1. Thank you for watching.